Panther instead of Leopard, whether Russians fear Germany's new tank. In the ongoing Russian-Ukrainian war, tanks have not been at their best. Although in World War II they were hardly a decisive weapon, but the use of kamikaze drones and modern handheld anti-tank missile systems has shown that today's tanks have no adequate response against them. So is it time to bury the tanks? We're sure it's not. The concept of this weapon is too attractive, an armor-protected, highly mobile gun capable of supporting troops directly on the battlefield. Therefore, for sure, the tank will be improved to meet the realities of modern warfare. In this video, we'll talk about a promising tank from one of the leading countries in the field of tank construction, Germany. And honestly, analyze what are the prospects of this tank. It's going to be interesting. So watch this video to the end. On June 17, 2022, a prototype of a new German tank was shown at the Eurosatory exhibition in Paris to replace the aging Leopard 2. The new vehicle was named Panther KF51. The exact characteristics of this vehicle are not disclosed, and it's essentially a technology demonstrator, but the available data already allow us to get some idea about it. Demonstrating the brainchild of his company in front of numerous journalists, experts, and military men, Rheinmetall CEO Armin Papperger said that the Panther is a kind of continuation of the Leopard 2 family of tanks. The statement was probably made for two reasons. Firstly, to take advantage of the reputation of already proven and commercially successful machines. Secondly, judging by its appearance, the novelty clearly has Leopard features, at least in terms of chassis and turret. It's not excluded that the internal elements, including units of the engine transmission compartment, in one form or another, were transferred from the main German tank. The connections of generations is certainly good, but what about the innovations? Here we'll dwell on it in more detail. The first thing that immediately catches the eye is the installation of the automatic loader. Thanks to this, the loader is removed from the turret, the commander and gunner are seated to the left and right of the gun, plus next to the driver mechanic, there's one more workplace, which is occupied by either the tank unit commander or the UAV operator. Now, first of all, let's pay attention to the defense of the vehicle. After all, it's become the Achilles heel of modern tanks. Sometimes you can meet the statement that composite armor finally cut off the connection between the weight of the machine and its protection, but in fact, it's not so. The stronger the defense, especially against subcaliber shells, the more it weighs, which is demonstrated by significantly heavier recent modifications of American Abrams and German Leopards too. The last of them, Leopard 2A7 Plus, began to weigh an obscene 70 tons. That's why, obviously, and didn't go into production. But the Panther, with a weight of 59 tons, looks thinner against the background of its brethren. We cannot talk about any specific figures of resistance to defeat because of the lack of data, but the tonnage clearly hints that the level of passive armor of the new tank is unlikely to surpass the Leopard 2A7. The manufacturer also claims that the new tank has a dynamic defense, which in principle is not a novelty for a long time. For example, in the Russian-Ukrainian war, to enter the battlefield, the tank without such a dodger is like appearing at a battle between knights without lats in one shirt. On YouTube appeared a video of the Ukrainian military put on the Leopards arrived to them Soviet dynamic protection. Recall, that's a layer of explosives between two steel plates. When a missile with a shaped charge strikes the outer plate, the explosives explodes and the resulting shockwave destroys the shaped charge, preventing it from burning through the tank's armor. There's also an active defense. In this case, Rheinmetall decided not to rely on third-party suppliers and use the Advanced Modular Armor Protection System produced by ADS Gesellschaft for active shoe system. The system is a 600-kilogram modular structure that uses guided fusing munitions as a defense. For the detection of attacking objects is responsible for two groups of sensors that determine the trajectory, speed, and type of projectile and transmit data to the onboard computer, which already decides on the firing of counter-munitions. The reaction speed of the system is only 56 milliseconds, which is enough to destroy not only anti-tank grenades and rockets, but even subcaliber projectiles. Since homing anti-tank missiles attacking the roof is becoming more and more common, the Panther's equipped with a system to detect and counteract them. With countermeasures, everything is more or less clear. In the booklet, Rheinmetall refers to the installation of the aerosol curtain, which masks the tank in the upper hemisphere in the infrared range, but with detection there are some questions. However, most likely we're talking about cameras operating in the infrared and ultraviolet ranges, capable of detecting the missile by radiation from its engine. Complementing this peculiar air defense of the tank is the ability to defeat unmanned aerial vehicles with the help of a remote-controlled machine gun of 7.62mm caliber with 2,500 rounds of ammunition. Now let's look at the armament of the new tank. One of the main features of the novelty is its gun, 130mm smoothbore gun L52. Here the manufacturer went the way of neither ours nor yours. The fact that the Western tank builders have long been looking at the 140mm caliber guns, as the 120mm guns in service have almost completely exhausted their modernization resource and can no longer provide a radical increase in muzzle energy, which directly affects the penetration capability of kinetic projectiles. However, the installation of a larger caliber barrel is accompanied by several problems, among which the main ones are the weight and dimensions of the entire gun system and the reduction of the transportable ammunition. Therefore, Rheinmetall decided to use a golden mean. The L52 is almost identical to its 120mm predecessor in terms of weight and dimensions, but it provides 1.5 times more muzzle energy, which, coupled with a 10mm increase in barrel diameter, will allow the creation of more powerful ammunition for various purposes. If the 120mm RH-120 L44 gun, which is mounted on Leopard 2A5 tanks and above, has a penetration of 660mm of armor, the new 130mm gun is capable of penetrating up to 1,000mm of armor, according to the developers. So to date, there are no tanks in the world that would withstand a blow from this gun, even in the front projection of the turret. But even the intermediate caliber of the Panther increased the mass of unitary rounds to about 40 kilograms, so the loader, a man in this tank, replaced the automatic loader with a capacity of 20 rounds. 10 more are in non-mechanized stowage. In an effort to make their brainchild a universal combat vehicle, the German designers decided to equip the Panther with a launcher for kamikaze drones, Hero 120 from the Israeli company U-Vision. It's located on the roof of the turret and allows you to alternately launch up to 4 drones. They can be operated by any crew member. Hero 120 is a 12.5 kilogram barrage munition with a 3.5 kilogram warhead of shaped charge or high explosive type of choice. A cross-shaped plumage and is capable of flying at a range of up to 40 kilometers day and night due to a thermal imaging channel. The targeting systems on the Panther are hardly radically different from similar devices on the latest Leopards, so it's a multi-channel sight with a standard set of telethermal imaging channels, automatic target tracking, and a laser rangefinder. Additional visibility is provided by the transparent armor system consisting of cameras installed in all projections of the tank. The image from them is fed to the displays of all crew members, so not only the commander or gunner, but also the mechanic driver can find out what's going on outside. It's enough to select the appropriate option on the screen. Much more interesting is the fact that according to the developers, Panther is one of the few examples of combat vehicles fully adjusted to the standards of NATO Generic Vehicle Architecture, abbreviated NGVA. So, the vast majority of the tank systems are connected to a single data exchange bus through special interfaces and controlled by a central onboard computer. This means that any crew member has access to all incoming information. For example, a mechanic driver can turn on the drone image on his display and can even partially perform the functions of another crew member without getting up from his workplace. As for the future, this standard may well be used to create an unmanned vehicle, because the onboard computer can be controlled remotely. Although it looks more realistic to introduce some software elements such as automatic target recognition and the like. As a power plant on the tank is the time-proven MTU MT883 engine. Its 1,500 horsepower 12-cylinder V-shaped 4-stroke diesel engine, one of the best in its class. With the weight of the tank of 59 tons, its thrust capacity is 25.4 horsepower per ton. By this indicator, it's second only to the Russian T-80U with a gas turbine engine. Now let's summarize the results. Most likely, the Panther KF51 is a refined Leopard 2 with eliminated errors such as excessively high weight. And the design is not revolutionary at all. Of course, there are no questions about electronics, guns, and good visibility, But there are other aspects, for example, protection. It's unlikely to be higher than the latest Leopards, which are heavier than the Panther due to thicker armor. No less strange looks the formal reduction of the crew size to 3 people. On the one hand, Rheinmetall is kind of proud of it and directly says that their tank, with an eye on the future and even now, can reduce the number of tankers through the automation of systems. On the other hand, as if unintentionally, one moment slips in, just in case we left a place for a 4th person in the control compartment next to the mechanic driver. Actually, it's for the tank unit commander. But in fact, it'll be occupied by a special operator controlling a whole horde of drones. At the same time, the very combat value of these Hero 120s as part of the tank armament is highly questionable. And in general, Panther leaves an ambivalent impression. It seems that Rheinmetall's trying to sell an old product in a new wrapper. The fact that this tank is unlikely to be adopted into service is also said in the pro-governmental structures of Germany. Experts say that Rheinmetall is simply trying to undermine the cooperation between Germany and France in the field of creating a single tank, claiming a part of the budget money. Considering that just recently it was announced that a record 100 billion euros were allocated for the modernization of the German army, this claim looks quite realistic. Well, so far we can conclude that Western tank builders have not deeply analyzed the lessons of the Russian-Ukrainian war, and they do not have much time left. Many experts, politicians, and NATO military officials say that the fight with Russia is inevitable and will take place in the very foreseeable future. And we'll not do without good tanks in this fight. And that's all we have for today. What do you think about this new German tank? Does it meet modern requirements? Write about it in your comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. And please also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell and share your thoughts in the comments. See you soon.